So in previous lecture, we were discussing about print. So, and we discussed about who designed Python and how Python software development organization uh, about it and how they released the first version, second version, and the third version. Okay. So today we will discuss about variables and data types. So let me, so it will be a practical guys. So there is will be no theory for variables and data types. So, and mostly our upcoming practicals, upcoming lectures will be practical only, not theoretical. So let's start. And one more thing I want to say is we will mostly use VS Code instead of PyCharm because PyCharm is something related to application. You cannot write simple application, simple codes on PyCharm. So that's why I prefer for training. I prefer VS Code. Okay. So okay. Before starting variable, I need to tell you something. Two, three things that in Python, if you are writing, if we are writing a code, let's take an example. If we write a small code like print hello world, but we need to add a comment so that later on we should be able to understand what we have written when and for what purpose. For example, this I want to mention like simply I will use hash. It will be marked as a green, so it's a comment. Only comment will be marked as green color. Okay, so I'll write over here printing hello world. We will run the code and check. See, there is no error. So what are the different ways to write comment or to comment a code? For example, if I want to comment this code, I'll simply can put hash. Okay, so it will be commented out, or I can write like this after your code. It's also valid. Or if you want to write a multi-line comment, so these all are single lines comment. If you write over here after the code over on the line, it's a single line comments. If you want to write a multi-line comment, then simply we have to use triple quote. Enter and printing. So hello world. It will not generate or give you any error. So to check, we will obviously run it. Okay, here. But what if you write like this? So you can see it's on a red mark and it's showing some error. Let's run check. Okay. Okay, it's saying unexpected intent on line number one. So it's obvious that if you want to, Python doesn't understand what is this. So for general purpose, if you have written, so you can use simply hash. Okay. So now we can start for data types and variables and data types. So what are the variables? But in short, if I say I'll use a hash more on more to explain you. So that's why before starting variables, there is a need to understand how to comment a code or how to add something before the code or after the code or a multi-line comment, etc. So let's take an example. A equals to, let's say, 30 and B equals to, let's say, my name Afzal, and C equals to, let's say, 10.0. Okay, but what are these things called? These things are called variable. This is variable name, and this is the variable value. So the definition of variable is if a variable is the name given to a memory location in a program. But you will say, what is this memory location? So the simple answer to this question is when you write a equals to 30, what Python does, Python saves in the memory. So you can reuse next time or in anywhere in your application. It saves this particular part in the memory. In short, we can say it stores the value of a, that is 30, in the memory. So you can reuse whenever you want. Let's take an example. If I guess all are attending this lecture from home. So if you go to a kitchen, you will find some containers. So there will be n number of containers, there will be 5 containers, 10 containers. So similarly, A is the container and this 30 is the value or the product. For example, in your kitchen, there is one container, and in that container, you have rice. Another container, you have, in second container, you have green peas. Okay. Similarly, variable works like that only. So A is the container and 30 is the container value. You can say that 30 is the rice, here Afzal is the green peas, and C is the something else. You can say oil or something, whatever you want. So variable work like a container. A container, what container does? Container stores a value. Similarly, so this is uh, these are for the explaining purpose. It won't work like this. So, but how Python knows that this is the number? If you see, this is a number, but how Python knows? So Python having a fantastic language that automatically identifies the type of the data. Okay, so Python knows that it's a numeric value. Python knows that it's a string. Python knows that it's a number, but with floating point. So if and these all are called data types. So this what is the data type of this? This is the integer. If we say, let's check. What is the data type of this? You can say it's a string. What is the data type of this? You can say it's a float. That is a floating point. Let me comment it. I'll explain you how Python detects what is string, what is integer later. So there is a small about variables. Now we will come to data types. Okay. So there are different data types. If we search on Google, so you can check Python data types. So I always recommend to go for the official Python doc. Sorry guys, today I'm not well, so might be my voice will be low. Okay, so uh, you can see over here all the data types that are dictionary, list, sets, frozen sets, tuple, bytes array, and for example, if I tell you string and then integer, let me check. Okay, so what we will do, this is something like more and more what uh, Python common. Let's check on W3 schools. Okay, yeah, it's a correct one. Here you can. So if a variable is text, then it should be a string. Okay. If a variable is numeric, then it will be integer, float, or complex number. Okay. We will understand how integer works, how float works, what is complex number. But if there is an sequence types, that will be definitely a list, tuple, and range. If it's a mapping type, it will be a dictionary. If it's sets, then it will be a set. Okay, there is no another name. Now another is boolean. What is boolean? It will be a true or false. There will be binary types and none types. So binary type is something different that I will teach you later on, but none is none. Okay. So first of all, we will discuss about string. As I written, B is a string. So there is one thing we can check. Okay. Before that, I want to tell you more on variable. There are some rules of variable. Let's take an example. Can you write 1 equals to 50? Is it a valid variable? No. So there are some 2, 3 points. First one is variable name can contain names, underscores, and digit. So with first point, it's clear that variable can contain names and numbers. But why it's giving me error? So variable name can only start with the name or underscore. So if we put a1 equals to 50, then it's a valid variable. But if we put only a numeric or an integer, that is 1, it will be not a valid variable. Okay, let's take an example. We will put, as I read, variable name can only starts with name or underscore. So let's put an underscore. Yeah, it's an valid variable. Though it's a underscore and numeric value, but it starts with underscore, so it's a uh, valid variable. Okay. Now the third point, as I said, already I showed you that variable cannot starts with digits. So we already proved that it cannot starts with digits. And the second thing is spaces are not allowed in variable. Last thing. Okay. So let's check A space B equals to 50. So here it's giving me error. Let's comment out all and check if we run this code, will it work or it will give you error. Let's see. Okay. It shows me invalid syntax. Okay. If I put over comma over here, okay, now it's a valid. But there is some problem because that we will teach in advanced Python. So this is not the basic topic. Why we are giving two variable same value. So that will be covered in advanced. So no need to now. So let me recall it again. Variable name can contain names, underscores, and digits. Okay, first point is clear. Second, variable name can only start with name or underscore. Third, a variable name cannot be start with digit. Fourth, spaces are not allowed in variable name. Let's take an example. I will assign variable name to my name, that is Afzal Ansari equals to 50. Is it a fully functional variable name? No, it's wrong. But if I do like this, yeah, or if I do like this, yeah, it's a valid. Okay. So let me write over here 1 equals to 50 hash not a valid variable. Underscore 1 equals to 50, a valid variable. Second,
Excuse me, so you have put a minus instead of equals.
oh, okay, sorry. Thanks for correcting me. A1 equals to 50, yeah, a valid variable. Okay, now one more thing over here I'll tell you. Just a second. So Python is a case sensitive language. So if I write A1 equals to 50, yeah, it's a valid variable, but it's something different to this. Let me show you. You will understand clearly. So what we will do, we will create a new file and we will mark it as test.py. Okay. Here we will put both, and this one we will mark as 30, and we will use a print function to print it. Okay. So A1 gives me 50. Okay. So both are different. Yeah. So Python is case sensitive. If you write start with the smaller, uh, so it will be different variable. If you start with the same thing but with a capital case, it will be different. Okay. So now we will move to the data types. So as we were discussing data types, some common data types, let me type. Let's take in an example. A equals to 10. So what is the data type? So there is a command to check what is the data type of the given value. So that is print. We'll definitely first print it and check. Okay, we print it, it's working. Now there is a command type. Okay, so you can see over here, it's a class integer. Now let's take in an example. If I write my name, okay. So now if I want to check what is the type of this variable, simply I'll run that. Now it's a class string. Similarly, now next comes is floating point. So what are the difference between integer and floating point? Nothing. This one is integer. A equals to 10.0 is float. That's it. In Python, if we have a numbers like 10.12345 6 or something that are in decimals, so it's called as a float. And if it's a 10 only simple value, it will be integer. Yeah. So let's check 10.90. So it's a float. Okay. Now, if there is a code I have written and I want to check if that is true or false, that is known as Boolean. Okay. So A is true. So it's class Boolean. Now, same false. Okay. And then there is one more, none. Let's say there is a code where the work of the piece of code is to provide none. Let's take an example. There is a form which you have to fill, and if you fill, let's take an example. Uh, there will be a field, name field, name. Then you will have phone number. Then you have message, etc. So name is mandatory and message is mandatory, but phone is not mandatory. So here you can write in the code that if phone equals to none, print none. So this is something you will not understand right now, but yeah, later on later uh, batch, I'll explain you one by one what are the function on. And to be honest, this is the booleans, nuns, and what we say, integer, strings. These are the common things which you will use every time in your code. So this should be known thoroughly. So I'll write all the data types like, okay. So how a string is written. So we check A is string. If you write simply, uh, okay, so it will give you error. It will say Afzal is not defined because Python doesn't know. If you want to make it a string or text, so we will use double quote or single quote or triple quote, depends upon you. Okay, but generally we use double quote. It's a string. String is what? It's a text. Okay. Now, sorry guys. Now there are some other different data types also. Just a second. Let me write all this. A equals to.
The 12 line should be B, right?
Sorry, what you said?
The 12th, where it should be B, right? B equal to 10, right? Not A, na? When, because if you
No,
print A,
it's
then
okay. You can
yeah.
assign any value. It's not B only. Let me, okay. So let me clear this to you. Sorry. Okay. So in the very first lecture, I said that Python works as a REPL, that is read, evaluate, print, load. So the function works one by one. It will read this first line, it will execute, it will print it, then it will again read this line, it will evaluate, it will print this. So if I return a as a string, then I return a as a integer. What will happen? It will print string or integer. Let's check. So the answer is, let's check.
I think so. It will print both, right?
No, 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 it will not print both. Let me show you. It will print the last one because Python says that it's a string. Now you have assigned the same value as an integer. So what happens?
Mm-hmm.
This will clear from the memory. Okay, and this is the new
Understood.
value that I assigned to it.
Understood. Understood. Yeah.
Okay,
Got it. Got it.
so now again something like you written a as a float. Okay, let's take as a, now the value of the a is 12. So I'll explain you more depthly. So a was an integer. Okay, so there was a form where a was sorry, a was a string. Like you can take in form a was the first name. Due to some reason, a was changed to phone number. Okay, and then due to after this, a was changed to a captcha. For example, 10 plus 0 or 12, it changed to captcha. So yeah, so what a will take, it will read, acha, okay, it's a string, now it's an integer, and then it will say it's a float. So if I print a, it will be now the new value will be float. Python clears these two things from the memory. It stores this value, then again it reads the second line, and then it says, okay, now the a value has been changed, so it will store this value as an integer, and then the third line will be executed. Okay, now it will say, okay, integer has been changed to float. Okay, so there is nothing, right? We have to write b, c, d. We can simply write a. So now a, we will see float. So there is one more thing in integer, that is complex number. We'll not talk much more on complex number because it's used in, you can say, mathematical programming operations like uh, geometry or something like we are doing. So we use complex number. It's written like this, where j is the imaginary part. After that, you write a code. Let's take an example. So let's take an example. You write a code which simply does true or false. For example, you set a paper where there are true or false only, and the question was, my name is Afzal. So it can be true or false. Okay. So in Python, for this we say boolean. Okay. So boolean can be true or false. Let's take an example. A equals to true. That is bull. A equals to false. That is also bull. Boolean cannot be half true, half false. It can be true, it can be false. It can be yes, it can be no. Okay? It cannot be yes, no, it cannot be true or false, it cannot be 50-50 or something, no. It will be true, the statement will be true, or the statement will be completely false. Now there is a last one we'll talk, that is none. It's nothing, it's none. Class none. Like there is something in your code where you have to print none. Okay, so it's that time it's used. So yeah, none and boolean and all these data types are the common data types which are mostly used in programming languages. There are much more data types if you go on the net. There are list, tuple, range, dictionary, sets, frozen sets, much more that we will talk later on. Yeah, but they are also the data types. So in Python, there are two things. You can say built-in and extra one, you can say. So we'll check built-in data types in Python. Okay, so here you can say Boolean operations and or not. These are the things which we learn later on. There is comparisons, numerate types, int, float, complex. You can search on Python official doc. So, okay, one more thing I want to tell you about variables. There are certain words reserved which you cannot use as a variable. For example, let's check def. Def you cannot use as a variable. Somehow you use, your code will be break or it will not work properly. Okay. It's now only it's giving error. Expected function after def balance. Okay. Def is built-in function that is used for different things. You cannot use as a variable. Let's take an example. So we'll search all the supported variable names. Okay. Here only we can see false, def, if, import, lambda, except, as, and, else, elif, true, none, del. We cannot use all these things as an variable. If you use, it will simply throw you error. Your code will not work properly. So better to avoid these things. Okay. So I'll give you more brief about. Uh, let's take an example. One of the data type, that is list. In Python, list is written like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. This is also a valid data type. It comes in list. We will have a dedicated lecture on list. So just understand that one of the data type is list, then another is tuple, same value will insert it, dictionary, set. There will be a dedicated batch on list, tuple, dictionary, set, because these are the data types which we will use the most. So if you are a network engineer, you will use dictionary. You, if you are having things where files will be static, so you will use tuples. If you have something that contains a list, for example, router name, OS name, password, host name, so you can use list. Okay, you can somewhere use sets. These are the things which you'll use. So there will be a dedicated lecture for list. These all the data types. But as of now, you have to understand these are the most common and most usable data types. That is string, integer, float, complex number. You can avoid this. If you want, you can watch more tutorials, because these are the things which mostly used for uh, mathematical operations, not in day-to-day life. If your application is related to something mathematical things, so yeah, definitely it will work. You will see these types of codes more. Okay, Boolean is everywhere used, none you have to use. So now we will check operators. Let's, what are the operators in Python? So in Python, operators are special symbols or keyword that performs operations on variables and values. Python supports various types of operators which can be categorized into groups. Let's say an example of first one is arithmetic operators. I know guys, this will be boring type, but yeah, understand it. If you understand all these thing, variables, data types, typecasting and all, so after I can say that after 5 to 6 lectures, you will love that you are coding. Okay, but yeah, something these are the things that you know thoroughly. So there will be comparison operators, logical operators, assignment operators, and much more. There are much more bitwise, membership, identity, and much more that you can check on Python official doc. But we will talk about these four which are commonly used. So let's take an example of arithmetic operators. Okay, let's take a variable a equals to 10 and b equals to 5. Yeah. So we know that these are the integers. Okay. Till here it's done. That they are integers. Now, what arithmetic operators do? If we want to sum this two, so definitely we know that it will be 15. But how to write in Python? So it will be like this. Print a plus b. We know that output will be 15. Let's check. Okay. So write it. That is addition. Addition arithmetic operators. Same if you want to do subtraction. Same. I'll copy and paste. Let's check. The answer should be 5. Yeah. So this is subtraction arithmetic operators. If you want a multiplication, then yeah, same. What we will do, we will use asterisk. Not okay. In Python, we don't use X like this. It will be wrong. We will use asterisk. Let's check whether it's correct or not. Yeah, 50. 10 into 5, that is 50. Now, I guess you all knows what comes, that is division. Same thing. Again, we will check 2.0. So here there is something it's shown in float. So guys, if we check, it's shown in float. Okay. So if we do division, it will be the answer will be in floating number, not as an integer. If you want to convert in integer, yeah, later on you can use typecasting for converting uh, from one class to another class. Yeah, we can do that. I'll show you in some time. So yeah, this one does. Now comes modulus. Modulus is something like this. That is 0. Why? Because it's a divisible. 5 ones are 5, 5 twos are 10. So it's a divisible. So let me let me take another this value. So it will show you. Just a second. So I'll take here 3. So the answer should be, I guess it will be 1. It it will return remainder. So let's check. Yeah, yeah, 1. If you want to know how it's written 1, so it divided by 3. So 3 threes are 9. The remainder one will be your output. Okay. Similarly, if here it's 20, so I guess it will be 2. Let's check. Yeah, it's 2. Okay. The remainder, the left one will be the your modulus. If it's 5, it's divisible by 5, so that's why 5 twos are 10, so there is no remainder over here. Modulus re- returns remainder. Okay. Now another one is exponentiation. So we all know that's how it works, 2 to the power of this. So to write explanation in Python, it will be like this. Okay, let's check. So we will take smaller numbers to understand correctly. Yeah, we can use this also. There's no problem. It's around 10. Okay. So last in arithmetic operation will be uh, flow division. Yeah. So that will be like this. If we use single, it will be division. If we use double slash, that will be flow division. Let's check. Okay. 5 is, sorry, 10 is divisible by 5. So 5 twos are 10. So yeah, definitely it will be 2. Let's take another example where I'll show you how flow division works. So will you take this, and here we will take the variables and we will use this. Now we know the answer will become as 2, but what if it's 3? What will be the answer? If you know, guys, you can comment what will be the answer. Okay, let me show you. We'll run the code and check. The answer should be 3. Yeah. So how it works, if we divide, we'll do both division and flow division. Okay. If you divide A with B, the answer will be 3.333. So what flow division does, it will round off to the nearest one. So 3 is the nearest one, so it will round off to 3. Okay, and it always in integer. If you want to typecast in, if you want in float, so just add over here 10.0. It will convert values into floating. Let's check. Okay, how flow division converts? What it will assign this to 3.0. You will not be able to, but flow division work like this. If A is in float, B will float. This function will convert this to float, and then it will run the code and you'll get the answer in float. Okay. So yeah, arithmetic operation done. Now we will talk about comparison. Okay, Arnold. Sorry guys, I was not reading your chat. So, and how about if I put underscore last? Yeah, it's valid. It's valid. The simple answer is you can check. When you will practice, just try it. You will understand. It's valid. So I'll add it so you'll be understand. So let's talk about comparison operators. The name comparison itself says a lot. So I don't need to say much on comparison operator. Simply, I will tell you the functions of comparison operator. We will take same example of A and B. Comparison operators are generally in Boolean. Okay, it will be either true or false. Let's take an example where I want to check if A is equal to B or not. Here I can see that A value is 10 and B value is 5. So the statement is false. Both are not same value. But if I want to check via Python, so how I'll check? Simply we'll use equals to. Let's take an example. A equals to B. We cannot use single equals to. It will be wrong. We And then we will check. If it comes false, then both are not same equal, and if it's true, both values are same. See, false. Let me Now the value should be true. Okay, so that is equal to, let me write it, equal to comparison operator. Okay, I'll not write all these things every time. The same comparison operator. Now let me change the variable. We can write like this also. If Yeah, this will produce output as false. Okay. uh, but what if I want to print this as a true? Yeah, we can definitely do that. So what we will do, we will use A not equal to B. Okay, now the output will be true. Let's Now another thing comes in comparison operator is greater than less than. Yeah, definitely we can check whether A is greater than B or B is smaller than A. So we'll write print open close parenthesis A is greater than B. Let's check if it's we know that A is greater than B, so it should be true. So I'll write simply true. Now let's check if A is smaller than B, so it should be false. A is smaller than B, it should be false. Yeah. So these are the benefits of comparison operators. Now in comparison, sorry, in this operators, in these two comparison operators, which is smaller than and greater than, we can use another function. You can say equal to. I'll tell you. So if A is greater than 10, means what? It should be 11. Sorry, B should be 11. If it's 10, it will, let's check. What we will do, we will check and tell. This is so open. I open. We will use same, and here what we are doing, checking if A is greater than B, but here it's equal. Okay, so output is false. But what if we write like this? Print sorry, A greater than or equal to B. Now the output will be true. Okay. Same if we change value to 5, A is smaller than or equal to B. Any one condition should be matched. Either it should be smaller or equal. Okay. So we know that the output will be false because A is not smaller than B. But what if we make it 10? True. Let's check if A is smaller than, no, A is equal to. So the second condition will be applied, A equals to B. So the output will be true. That's it for comparison operators. Now we'll move to next, logical operators. So there is nothing much more in logical operators. So let's take an example. A is a boolean true and B is also bool, which is false. So I'll write code like this. Print A and B. Okay. So my question is, what will be the answer? Is it true, false, or none? None will be not there. It will be a true or false. Guys, if you know, you can write in the comment. Let me again repeat it. A is a boolean, that is true. B is also boolean, that is false. I want to check if A and B are true or false. How AND operators work, I'll tell you after that. So your comments. No, it will be false. Yeah, we'll check. So the answer is false. Why? The question arises here, why? With AND operator, both conditions should be true. Both conditions should be true. Let's take an example. A is true, B is also true. So print A and B is true. Okay. But there is also another or. If you write and, both conditions should be true. So let's take an example. Both conditions are false. What will be the output? Will it be true and false, guys? I'm eagerly waiting for you to answer this. Yeah, correct. It will be false. So now the guys, give me one minute. Okay, guys, I'm back. So there is another logical operator that is print or. It's an or. So A or B. Let me change it again to true. Okay. What's the meaning of or? Any one condition should be true. So here we know that A is true, B is false. Here we understand that we met the condition, so the output will be true. Okay. Here you can see it's true. Again, let me shuffle it. This is false. This is true. What will be the outcome? That is true only because first condition we are not meeting true, but yeah, on second condition we are meeting with the answer. So that's why it will come to true. Okay. So now let's take an example. Again, I will ask you all, if both are false, so what will be the output of this or condition or operator, you can say? Will it be true or false? You can comment down, guys. Correct. It will be false. I'll run the code and show you. Yeah, it's false. Let me make it again true. And then there is one more logical operator, and that is the simple one. We already discussed about it. That is not condition. Let's take an example. Print not A. We know that A is true. Okay. So what we here wrote not. Not means it should be a false. So what will be the outcome? It will be false because it's a true. It will reverse it. If we write over here B, the answer will be true. It will change the value of true to false and false to true. So these are the three conditions in logical operators. Now the last one is assignment operators. It's not, I'll say it's again the same. So I'll copy paste the same thing with assignment on it. So let's take an example. So, A. I assign the value of A to 10, and then I also wrote A plus equals to 5, and I want to know the value of A. What do you think? What will be the answer? Will it A will be 10, A will be 5, or A will be 15? Okay, one said 5. Any more guesses, guys? Okay, Fontem says 15. Let's check. Simple, I'll say run the code and check. So it's 15. So here Fontem wins. Let me explain you clearly. When you run the code, Python says A value was 10. Yeah, but here I use an assignment operators of addition and I added 5 on it. Now the A value will be 15. This is like we do mathematics like 10 plus let me 0.5 that equals to and that is 15. Okay, it's same like this. You have added 5. If we remove the assignment operator, so the value will be, let's check, the value will be 5. So here it will be read it. It will read the first line. Okay, Python says okay, the value of the A is 10. It shows in the memory. Now again it run the second line. Okay, now the value of the A is 5. It clears the old memory and stores this one, the new one, that is 5. But if we use an assignment operators like this, so the value of the A will be 15. So first one will be A equals to 10. Let me copy and paste it. Hash. Output will be 15. I'll make it short, output 15. Okay. So this one is done. Now same we will use for subtraction. Let's take an example. Somehow we have to subtract in the code. So we use assignment operators. Now let's check what will be the answer. I guess you guys, all guys know that it will be 5. Same you will see for the multiplication. Same you will add like this. Instead of subtraction, you will use multiplication. Now then again you will use, let's take an example, division. Now then you will use modulus. Same again you will use modulus. Then you will use exponentation. Then same you will use floor division. You can try at home whenever you're practicing. So these are the assignment operators. With this, we have finished variables, data types, and operators. So let me recall it again what we have learned today. Okay, one more I want to show you input function. Okay, so there is a challenge. So, or you can say there is a requirement in the company where says print print age of a user with name and age. Okay, with input function. So let me tell you what input function does. So basically, input function will generate a console where you have to insert the name or age, and that will be printed. So let me show you. Name will create a variable name. So we'll get a name will be input. and then we will write like this, enter your name, and then we'll create another variable age equals to same input, enter your age, and then we will print age, oh sorry, name plus age. Let's check how it will print. Okay, so once it's asking for the name, so I will write name Afzal. Then it's asking for the age, so age is 28. Now this is Afzal 20, but it's not looking good. So there is a flaw with the code. So what we will do, we will correct it. So we will use semicolon and then we will use space. Again here also we will use semicolon space, and instead of plus, what plus operator does, combine two things. So for example, if name is 5 and age is 10, so what will be the name plus age? Let's take an example. I'll show you quickly again. So uh, create another file. So name is like 10. What will be the name plus age? That is 20, because Python understand that it's an integer digit. Age is also an integer digit. So he used the plus operator and combined both value, add it. Okay. So, but what if, okay, one more thing I'll to tell you, input function is always as a string. Input function cannot be integer, float, complex number, boolean, none, cannot be. Input is always a string. Let's take an example. If instead of this values I put input, sorry guys, input, enter your name. Okay, then I use some decoration, and again for age I use input, enter your age. And so the name should be text format, but due to some mistakes I entered 10 and age I entered 10. So what will be the outcome? Could you please message me? Could you please comments? What will be the outcome? It will be, let me give you option. It will be 10 10, it will be 20, it will be an error, or it will be a none. It will be 1010, it will be 20, it will be none, or it will be an error. Okay, let's answer will be like it's 10 10, because I just now said input works as a string. String is a text. Okay, so instead of let me close this and open it again, so we'll be understand. Let me say here Python don't know its age. We know that age are in numbers, digits, but Python we have used input function, so it will be in string, in text format. So numbers also Python will consider as in text format. So let's take an example. If we write Afzal and I'll write my last name Ansari. So Ansari is not an age, but it will not throw an error. Why? Because we have used input as a string. We need to typecast it into integer So it will throw an error. Let's take an example. Okay, something like this. This is the thing that we will talk in next lecture, not right now. Yeah, but let me tell you, instead of plus operator, we will use comma, and then again we will run the code. Enter a name, that will be Afzal, age, that will be 28, that is Afzal 28. We can make it more decorative like this. For example, the name is Afzal and the age is 20. Okay. So in print function, we can use variable, we can use string, we can also use integer, we can use boolean that we will learn on later on. But for this, it's that we were talking just about input function, and the main thing is input is always as a string. It cannot be integer. We can typecast it. We can convert it into integer, that we will see in next lecture. But yeah, input function is in string only. So today's by after this, this is the end of today's lecture. Let me recall all the things. First, we understand variable, and we understand that variables rules. That the first one was variables can contain name, underscores, and digits. Variable can only start with name, this, or underscore. A variable cannot be start with digit. Spaces are not allowed. For example, I have not written space, but I'll write it. One space one. So this is not allowed. Okay. Now certain variable names, certain names, you can say, not variable names, certain names are reserved, that we have seen, like def, is, if. These all things are reserved. Let me mark it. Reserved names, you cannot use it. If you use it, will simply crash your code. It will not run properly. It will malfunction, you can say. Then we go through on data types. So there are so many data types, but we here, let me built-in data types. So A, if a value is written with the double quote or with a quote, it's string. Let me clarify more this. Okay. Single quote, double quote, triple quote. If A is digit, then it's integer. If A is having decimal value, then it will be a float. If A is having complex number, where J is an imaginary part, yeah, that is complex, class complex. So we talk about boolean, that is that it can be true or false, and the none class. Okay, I think so. I have not shown you the more on none. So let me, uh,
Will you be able to share this in a text file?
yeah, sure, sure, sure. Just a second. So print A. So the class will be none. And if you want to check, it will sorry, prints the value of A, that is none. But if you want to check which type of operator, sorry, variable is data variable is, so simply we will type bracket A. So it will show you class none type. So yeah, I'll Fontem, I'll answer to all the questions, but let me finish it. So then we see class list. It's written with the open close brackets, tuples, dictionaries, that is written with the curly braces, sets are also written with the curly braces. I'll not talk much more on this because this will be a dedicated lecture for list, tuples, dictionary, sets, and then we talk about operators. There are so many types of operators, binary, bit array, some more. But the famous and you can say the most used operators are arithmetic operators, that is simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, comparison operators, mm, that is equal to, not equal to, greater sign, smaller sign, greater equal to, smaller equal to, not greater equal to, you can say. There will be a logical operators, that is simply either true or false, nothing else. Logical operators are true or false, and in that operators and comes, or comes, not comes. With and, both conditions should be true. With or, one condition should be true, not prints true to false and false to true. Then we talk about assignment operators. Let me copy and paste. So we talk about the assignment operators. Assignment operators, nothing but the extended version of arithmetic operators. That if there is a value of a, that is 10, and we want to add 5, so we can use a plus equals to 5. That will be a arithmetic operator. Similarly, for subtraction, minus equal to we can use. For division, for multiplication, same, all given. Yeah, guys, I'll share this file to you in group, don't worry. So now again, okay, lastly we talk about the input function, that is if we want to insert certain things, like for example a name, number. For example, this is input function works with the form validators. Like for example, you have a form fields like name, phone number, country, and so their input function works. Okay. So input works in calculator. For example, you made an application, calculator application, a live, you written in Python, and then some parts you written in C, and then compile, and you made exe of it. So now you're similarly like this. You make a calculator like this. So if I type 5, that is an input. Okay. So you can use for calculator also. Then we talk about how to check the type of the data variables, that is we use the command type. Let me show you. This is the exact command to check whether it's the given variable is a string, that it's a boolean or integer, float, or etc. 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 Yeah. So guys, it's over now. Let me let me what I'll do. I'll combine all the things in one, and I'll share you the file. Okay. Definitely next session will be more energetic because I'm not well today, so you can understand with my voice. Okay, so now it's time for the question and answers. So font time having questions, please can I add the name and age, for example, put name, place, age, college. Yeah. Okay, I'll show you practically. Okay, I'll show you the practical. So font time having a question over here. Let me. Okay, just a second. This was his question. So let me create it. So name equals to, that is Afzal, and age equals to 28. So if I use print name plus age, will it work? No, it will not work. You cannot combine string with integer. Either both should be string or both should be integer. Let's take an example. If this is you written in string, so it will work now. Okay, Afzal 28. But if one is string and another one is integer, it will not work because these are two different things. These are two different data types. You cannot combine. So yeah, see, you can see the type error. Let me copy and paste so you'll understand more. Type error can only concatenate string, not integer to string. So concatenate means combine. So either both should be string or both should be integer. If let's take an example, let's take an example. Assume that my name is 10. So will it work? So yeah, in practical life, so no one names 10, but assume it that my name is 10. So will it throw error? No, it will combine it because here what you have is you addition operator. You okay, instead of this you can use comma and then convert this into string and print. Okay, 1028. Now yeah, let's take Afzal and 28. So yeah, Afzal 28, it will not throw you error. Okay guys, if you have any more questions till now, you can ask. If you didn't understand any part, you can uh, again ask, and if you ask 100 times, I'll be glad. I'll definitely explain you 100 times. If you are not able to understand, that means that there is a problem in my teaching. If you understand, that means I'm teaching very well. So if you didn't understand, please, I'll say let me know. I'll again explain. I'll I'll surely use different ways of explanation so that you understand. this also I'll include in the file and share with you. Okay. Okay, Tuang, you can. I'm pronouncing your name right, Tuang. It's okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sure. Install it. Try it. You will love Python. Yeah. In early days when I was learning Python, so I'll share you genuine feedback. To be honest, my 10 lectures was very boring because they were teaching me Python ABCD. You can say all these things are like you can say that I am teaching you the programming language ABCD and all. There is nothing hard and fast things. There is nothing like, but yeah, you can say it's like JavaScript. JV means JavaScript, right? Okay, okay, okay. I understand. It's not JavaScript, it's Java. Uh, yeah. So I guess you all guys don't have any doubt. So thank you, and I'll share you this file. Okay. Yeah. Bye.